She slapped me for him. And that was the day I stopped loving her. She slapped me in front of the entire classroom. Not because I hurt her, not because I betrayed her, but because another guy smiled while watching. And the worst part? I still remember the warmth of her hand more than the pain itself. The classroom went silent. 30 pairs of eyes stared at me, some shocked, some amused. And her, she wouldn't even look at me. That was the moment I realized the girl who once protected me from the world had become the person who broke me the most. And honestly, I wish that slap was the thing that hurt the most. But it wasn't, because sometimes the deepest pain comes from watching someone slowly choose another person over you, while you stand there pretending your heart isn't falling apart. Chapter 1. The Girl Who Held My Hand. Before everything became painful, before silence replaced laughter, there was just me and Yuna. We grew up in the same neighborhood, same streets, same school, same stupid convenience store where we wasted our allowance on cheap popsicles during summer evenings. When we were kids, I used to get bullied a lot. I was skinny, quiet, weak, and Yuna? She was terrifying. I still remember one rainy afternoon in elementary school. 3 older boys cornered me behind the gym because I accidentally kicked a soccer ball at them. I thought I was done for. Then suddenly, get away from him. Her voice cut through the rain like thunder. Tiny little Yuna stood there holding a broken umbrella like a sword. The boys laughed until she threw her school bag directly at one of their faces. I remember staring at her in shock. Her cheeks were red, hair soaked from rain, breathing heavily, but she still grabbed my hand and pulled me away. "Why do you always look so helpless?" she complained. But her grip never loosened. That was probably the first time my heart betrayed me. Because from that day, I started looking at her differently, not just as my childhood friend, but as the person who made the world feel safe. And maybe that was my mistake. Our families loved teasing us. Every dinner gathering turned into torture. Just marry each other already. You two act like an old married couple. Yuna always rolled her eyes dramatically, but secretly, she never denied it either. Sometimes she'd look at me and smirk. "Guess you're stuck with me forever." Forever. Funny word. At 16, forever sounds immortal. Like nothing could ever separate two people. I believed it. God, I really believed it. There were nights we walked home together under orange streetlights while sharing earphones. Cold winter mornings where she forced her gloves onto my freezing hands. Moments so small, yet they became memories I could never throw away. And somewhere between childhood and high school, I fell hopelessly in love with her. But I never confessed, because I was scared that saying it out loud would ruin what we already had. I thought staying by her side was enough. I thought she already knew. But then, he transferred into our class, and everything changed. Chapter 2. The Boy Who Stole Everything. His name was Kaido. Tall, confident, the kind of guy who walked into a room and instantly owned it. Girls loved him immediately. Teachers adored him. Even the guys wanted his approval. And me? I knew from the first day, people like him and people like me never existed in the same world. At first, he acted friendly. Too friendly. He'd throw his arm around my shoulder, mock me jokingly in front of others. "Bro, do you ever talk?" Everyone laughed, including Yuna. I laughed too, pretending it didn't bother me. But every joke slowly became sharper, crueler, more personal. And somehow, Yuna never noticed. Or maybe she did. Maybe she just stopped caring. One afternoon during lunch break, Kaido looked at Yuna and smirked. "You seriously spend all your time with this guy?" The classroom laughed softly. My chest tightened. Yuna hesitated, just for a second. But that second destroyed me. Because instead of defending me, she laughed awkwardly and said, "He's just clingy, just clingy." I smiled like it didn't hurt. But inside, something cracked quietly. And that was the terrifying part. Love doesn't die loudly. Sometimes, it dies in tiny humiliations nobody else notices. Weeks passed. Yuna started changing. Slowly at first. Then all at once. She replied later. Stopped waiting for me after school. Started sitting beside Kaido more often. And every time I tried talking to her, it felt like interrupting someone else's life. One evening, I waited outside the school gates in the cold for nearly an hour. We always walked home together. Always. But that day, she walked past me with Kaido, laughing, didn't even notice me standing there. I remember the wind that night, cold enough to make my hands numb, but somehow not as cold as the feeling inside my chest. That was the moment I realized I was slowly disappearing from her world, and she didn't even notice. Chapter 3. Watching her choose him. People think heartbreak happens instantly. It doesn't. It happens slowly, painfully, like drowning one breath at a time. I started noticing little things. The way she smiled differently around him. The way she fixed her hair before talking to him. The way she defended him instantly whenever someone criticized him. Even when he was wrong. Especially when he was wrong. One day, during class, Kaido took my notebook and started reading my private notes aloud to everyone. They looked like depressed poetry, he laughed. The class burst into laughter. I reached for the notebook. Give it back. But he pulled it away. Then Yuna walked in. For 1 second, I thought she'd help me. Instead, she sighed in annoyance. Can you stop making everything awkward? Awkward. That word hit harder than I expected. Because suddenly, I realized I had become an embarrassment to her. The quiet childhood friend she outgrew. The weak boy standing in the way of her new life. I wish I could say it didn't hurt. But it did. More than anything. And the worst part? I still loved her. Even while she was breaking me. That night, I stared at our old childhood photos for hours. Her smiling beside me at the beach. Her sleeping during train rides. Her tiny hand holding mine when we were children. I kept asking myself one question. When did I stop being enough? But no answer came. Only silence. And silence can be crueler than hatred. Chapter 4. The slap. The day everything ended. Started like every normal school day. Gray skies. Heavy rain outside the classroom windows. That strange feeling in the air before something terrible happens. Kaido was in one of his moods. Loud, arrogant, cruel. He started joking about me again. But this time, he crossed the line. He grabbed my bag and pulled out the small gift I had bought for Yuna weeks ago. A silver bracelet. Simple, cheap, but meaningful. Because she once told me silver reminded her of moonlight. The classroom immediately started teasing. Oh, he likes her. Kaido smirked. Then he looked directly at Yuna. So what? You dating this loser? Everything became quiet. I looked at her, waiting, hoping, begging silently for her to say something. Anything. Then she stood up, walked toward me, and before I could speak, slap. The sound echoed through the classroom. Sharp, violent, unforgettable. My cheek burned instantly. But honestly, I barely felt it, because the real pain came from her expression. Cold, embarrassed, ashamed of me. Stop acting obsessed, she snapped. My ears rang. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Rain hit the classroom windows softly behind us. And I just stood there, completely numb. That was the moment I realized the girl I loved no longer existed. Maybe she disappeared long ago. Maybe I was just too stupid to see it. I slowly picked up the bracelet from the floor. My hands were trembling, but my voice, strangely calm. Don't worry, I said quietly. I won't bother you anymore. And for the first time since we met, Yuna looked scared. Not angry, not annoyed, scared. But by then, it was already too late. Chapter 5. The boy who stopped caring. After that day, I disappeared from her life completely. Blocked her number. Changed seats in class. Stopped waiting after school. Stopped looking at her. And something strange happened. People noticed. Because when someone who always loved loudly suddenly becomes cold, the silence becomes terrifying. Yuna tried acting unaffected at first. She stayed close to Kaido. Kept laughing. Kept pretending everything was fine. But I noticed the way her eyes searched for me unconsciously. I noticed how quiet she became whenever I ignored her. One afternoon, she grabbed my wrist in the hallway. Her fingers trembled slightly. Can we talk? I pulled my hand away gently. I'm Buse. That expression on her face. God, for a second, I almost gave in. Because despite everything, part of me still wanted her. But some wounds never really fade. And every time I looked at her, I remember that slap, that silence, that humiliation. So I walked away and left her standing there alone. Days turned into weeks. Then one evening, she came to my apartment, crying. I opened the door and froze. Her eyes were swollen red, hands shaking. What happened? I asked instinctively. Then she whispered something that surprised me. Kaido was using me. Apparently, he had been flirting with multiple girls the entire time, making fun of her behind her back, calling her easy. I should have felt satisfied. After everything he did to me, I should have enjoyed seeing karma destroy him. But honestly, I just felt tired. Yuna broke down, crying in front of me. I didn't know, she whispered. I was stupid. No, you were cruel. But I couldn't say it, because seeing her cry still hurt me somehow. And that terrified me most. Chapter 6, The Diary. A few days later, Yuna found my old notebook, the same one Kaido mocked months ago. Inside it were years of feelings I never confessed, pages filled with memories of her, tiny details nobody else would remember. The way she laughs when she's genuinely happy. She held my hand today without realizing it. I think I've loved her my entire life. And near the final pages, the writing became darker, more painful. She looked happier with him today. I think I'm losing her. She slapped me today. I don't think my heart survived it. Yuna later told me she cried for hours reading it, because for the first time, she realized the depth of what she destroyed. Not obsession, not clinginess. Love. Pure, patient, loyal love. The kind people spend entire lifetimes searching for. And she threw it away for temporary attention. That realization shattered her. But regret is a cruel thing. It always arrives after the damage is done. Chapter 7, Too Late. Winter came quietly that year. Cold winds, white skies, the kind of season that makes loneliness feel heavier. By then, I had changed. Started focusing on myself, studying harder, talking more, smiling again. And eventually, I met someone. Her name was Hannah. She wasn't dramatic, wasn't loud, didn't try to fix me. She simply stayed. And somehow, that felt healing. One evening after class, Hannah handed me warm coffee because my hands looked cold. Such a tiny gesture, yet it nearly broke me emotionally. Because she noticed things Yuna stopped noticing long ago. And unfortunately, Yuna saw it too. I'll never forget her expression that day, standing across the hallway, silently watching us, like someone realizing they lost home forever. A week later, she asked to meet me at the park near our childhood neighborhood, the same park where we once played together as kids, the same bench where she once promised. Guess who stuck with me forever? The irony almost made me laugh. Snow fell softly around us. Yuna looked exhausted, eyes red from crying. I love you, she whispered finally. The words I once dreamed of hearing. But hearing them then only made me sad. Because timing matters. Trust matters. And broken hearts don't magically heal just because someone regrets hurting you. Tears rolled down her face. I was scared, she admitted. I cared too much about what people thought. I kept choosing the wrong person because I thought being with someone popular would make me happy. I stayed quiet. Then she looked at me desperately. Can we start over? God, part of me wanted to say yes. Part of me still remembered the little girl who protected me in the rain. But love alone isn't always enough. So I looked at her gently and said, You didn't break my heart in one day, Yuna. My voice shook slightly. You broke it little by little every time you chose him over me. She started crying harder. And honestly, I almost cried too. But the slap, I whispered. That was the moment something inside me died. Silence filled the park. Cold wind moved between us softly. Then I said the hardest words I've ever spoken. I forgive you. Her eyes widened slightly. But I can't love you the same way anymore. And I swear, I saw her heart break right there. Years have passed since then. Sometimes I still think about her. About summer sunsets, rainy afternoons, shared earphones, childhood promises. But memories are strange. They can warm your heart and destroy it at the same time. Yuna eventually moved away. I heard she still keeps that silver bracelet, the one I picked up from the classroom floor after she slapped me. Funny, isn't it? How people only realize the value of love after losing the person who gave it so freely. As for me, I'm okay now, not completely healed. Maybe nobody ever fully heals from their first heartbreak. But I learned something important. Love should feel safe, not humiliating, not painful, not something that makes you beg for basic kindness. And sometimes, Walking away is the purest form of self-respect, even if it hurts, especially if it hurts. Because some people come into your life to teach you how to love, and others come to teach you when to let go. And Yuna? She became both. But some scars never really fade. They just become quieter.